Till the belly button is so dirty scientists are finding new unknown bacteria. One person had bacterium previously found only on Japanese soil, where he had never been. Maybe it's in everyone's belly buttons, and rarely in soil. Therefore the article should be, belly button bacteria rarely grows in soil. I'll take my Pulitzer now, thank you. Perhaps you didn't get a Pulitzer, but you got a Platinum Award. You know what they say, yeah, can't spell Pulitzer without some of the letters also found in Platinum Award. The intelligence on display here is just inspiring. All you need for Pulitzer is a single Z and E and you are left with a NM award afterward. It's the next best thing really. You definitely make mention of a Reddit Platinum Award winner in your resume. Was that just off the cuff or did you have to think about it for a minute? Either way, bravo. Corporate, that's the same prize. 1. Take it or leave. It's like Pulitzer Silver. There's a science Nobel for people like you. Yep, and it's probably in Japanese soil because of seppuku. Case closed. We should write a paper. Pulitzer Prize. Sorry. Get this on NPR, and we'll get you a Peabody too. The article should rather read, looks like someone dropped their belly button in Japan. I think we should just kill everyone whose belly buttons make that type of bacteria in the first place. I'll take my Nobel Peace Prize now, thank you. His shirt made in Japan. Worker there likes to garden before going to work. Cleans hands but missed under fingernails. Goes to work mailing shirts. Touches the cloth and soil transfers. Tiny bit of soil is sealed in a nice dark cool box. Shipped and a few months later arrives at destination. The rest is history. More line Nobel Prize to me, man. Stop underselling yourself. I used to have a weird obsession with fingering the fuck out my belly button when I was a kid. Like my mom actually had to take me to see a doctor, she was that concerned. And I had totally forgotten about it until I read this, so thanks for that. You're doing it right now, aren't you? What are you, the fucking belly button police? No, we're the belly button fucking police. I wanna see porn of it. Activate rule 34. I mean, there is porn of dudes fucking belly buttons, so it shouldn't be hard to find. Till there exists a magical girl hentai where the protagonist gets tentacle raped by her sister, who was mind broken by a tentacle monster. The visuals, oh god, the visuals. The tentacle bulge from her vagina was standard, but the anal, Jesus. The tentacles went up into her intestines, bulged them until the protag was a fucking ball, with intestinal linings and knots appearing over her clothing, and then the sister forced a tentacle through her navel. And afterwards the sister grew a tentacle, and fuck her sister's throat with it. By which I mean she went so deep inside her sister, that her tentacle boner and the tentacle in her intestines met, and coiled in her stomach. Right. Yes. And it is called Mahou Shoujo Alina. This was EP 3. It's the first one that comes in the search. Thanks for the source. If you're into nipple fucking you can watch EP 2. If you want to know what it is, you can go for EP 2. Usually a NSFW subbers magically avail. One day, sensor bars and pixels will cover the entire screen, just to shield our eyes from the horrific visuals. D, does it fit? By the power of hentai everything is possible. Also I searched quite a few places today, it's kinda rare tbh. Step back sir, we'll take it from here. Username checks out. Weeeewoowoowoweeeewooowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoowoow woo. Why is this so funny lmao? Because we all done lost our fucking minds. Pull off app. Woo woo wee wee. Wah wah wee wah. Very nice. Whatcha gonna do when we smell yours too? Sir, I'm going to need you to remove the finger from the belly button right now. He isn't but I am. Freeze. Belly button's where I can see him. Taylor Swift backs away slowly. I'm a clone. You have no authority over me. I'm doing it right now too. Got more than an exhale out to my nose on this one, thanks M8. Is it weird that I read this in a Scottish accent? I'd be more surprised if anyone isn't after reading this thread. My little brother was about 80 pounds overweight and he used to make little popping noises by covering his belly button with his finger really fast/hard. So what you're telling me is your little brother knows how to party. Oh yeah, he is quite the character. I laughed and nearly choked to death on my Doritos. Sorry, it's only silver, but it's something. I'm barely 110 pounds, and I do that sometimes too. It's strangely addictive. I hate this. I really need to witness this. Sounds like something I'd giggle at uncontrollably. Reddit has a fascinating way of reminding you how far you've evolved from an absolute filthy animal with real dreams and hope into an automaton civilian who just has short seconds long reactions to things. Can you fucking get off that subject is a rare thought in my mind, but it exists without a reward being present. It exists along with why are you still on that subject, and when will this end, so I can get onto other issues. I excite myself by linking complex issues together while waiting for a response from a person. The goal is to expand the employee's perspective and leave them to imagine the new information from their own perspective. So rapid fire linking of problems with solutions that I know and the other person should know creates an instant rapport, but also lets me walk away knowing I've blown their mind. There is no hard line, and sometimes my idea falls flat or gets called out as a general issue, but specifically the project becomes permanent with enough nights spent on the issue. Automaton is such a crude term for how a proper teaching sequence helps people. Automatons are crude. I think back to students across the US wing instructed to hide under their desk in case of a bomb warning. A smart person thinks I'm not safe under a wooden desk. The automation thinks the teacher is pretty. I will do what she says, and she will say things to me that make me happy. That's fucking weird. Mine feels mildly uncomfortable if I stick a finger in, like my entire torso says, nah, don't do that. Sure as fuck, wouldn't do it for fun. The area behind your navel/umbilicus is called the parietal peritoneum, and it had nerve fibers that run around the abdominal cavity, especially the bladder, bowels, and genitals, subperitoneal area. It feels weird and uncomfortable because it's like you're tickling your insides, and your body doesn't often get its insides tickled, nor is it usually a good thing for your body to be receiving sudden external stimulation in your insides. It would seem like your insides are no longer inside, or something has come in to join them. I get a more than mild stabbing feeling along a line from my belly button down to my urethra. It's not fun. Don't touch my belly button. I had an outie until I was around 5 to 6 years old, but when I was a toddler I was obsessed with fidgeting with my belly button, to the point that I would lift up my dress or shirt in public unconsciously to play with it. Also, I called it my belly goat, because for some reason my toddler brain made the connection between belly button and the story of the 3 belly goats graph. Oh my god, I cannot believe I wasn't the only weirdo who did something like that when I was really little. Only I could pop the damn thing in and out at will. Drove my mother bonkers, as apparently it looked like I was enjoying it a little too much, and she knew it wasn't going to fly my doing it in public once I went to preschool. Finally she sat me down and told me it was my belly button, and therefore I was welcome to mess with it. But as it turns out, doing that kind of thing is considered a private thing once you're not a baby anymore. So from then on I could only do it in the privacy of the bathroom. After a few times being sent to be all alone in the bathroom, I must have decided it wasn't worth it because I stopped. Thank God I'm an extrovert, otherwise I may have just locked myself in there and never bothered to come back out. Kids are weird. So I guess it wasn't so difficult when your mom sat you down for the talk about masturbation. Hahaha. As it turns out, we never had that specific talk. She probably figured the first one was close enough. Truth. I did all of this, except call it a belly goat lol. As someone who can't stand touching their belly button, I hate all of this. My brother did this, and also used to suck his thumb. It was cute, but not so much, when he was 14 still doing it. I laughed so hard at this comment, thank you. It was therapeutic. I wouldn't say that I've ever fingered mine, but my mom called me out as an adult for always reaching and poking at my belly button when I'm uncomfortable. 100% spot on. Turns out it's been some sort of self-soothing mechanism or just natural response to extreme discomfort for as long as I can remember. Me too. Mine got infected once. Used to pick at it. Yuck. This comment made my entire day better. Same here. I'd finger my belly button and suck my other thumb and say oi 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 oi. What in the fuck? I hope I don't become a serial killer. For the longest time, when I was a kid, the only way I could fall asleep was with a finger jammed in my belly button. My belly button got infected from doing that. I did it one fucking time because it itched. My half-sister had a similar obsession with her belly button as a child, enough so to cause uncomfortable irritation. So, my mother told her that, if she played with it too much, it would open up / burst and everything would spill out. Dark, I know. But she quit playing with it. The best part, though, is that she full on believed this, until she was 32, and I brought it up. Talk about having a good laugh. I used to do the same thing, though I'd do it when I was alone cause that's kinda weird to do in front of other people. Take you to a doctor. Bahaha, thanks man. I needed this tonight. I remember my belly button exists like once a year. I then dig through it and clean it out. The shit that comes out is rank. I had a friend's wife's sister was a real number. She took her 11-year-old boy to the doctor because she thought his cock was too small. Poor lad sat there while the doctor explained to his mom that he's 11. When he was older she walked in on him wanking, so make him a sign that said "personal time," which he put on his door thereafter when he jacked off. You should check on that kid. Start your fingering. I did that too, but until my fingers were becoming red. What? Now smell your finger. I used to do the same thing, but now I don't have a belly button anymore, so I can't do it. It was like a safety blanket for me. Now that it's gone it kind of gives me anxiety when I think about it, and I have no sensations if I touch the area where the surgeons had tried to recreate a new one. I lost it because of too many bowel surgeries. They managed to avoid removing it on the first 2 surgeries, but the third one I woke up and it was gone. Now I have anxiety just reading this post. Have the sudden urge to poke it. I used to suck my thumb and play with my belly button till I was like 8 or 9. Me too, but I only did it while I was being bottle fed and when I was trying to fall asleep. Only God knows why. Are we the same person? I'd use a Q-tip and pull all that gunk out. Honestly have no idea how people do navel shots. It's fucking gross. I did too. Like if there was some dry skin I would try to get it off by using my nails. I did that as a kid and as a teenager. Ever had nipple rocks as a kid? I just remember those by reading your post. Hahaha, I have a belly button lint collection. My fiance hates. I'm in my 20s and I still do this. How do I stop? So I found that I really enjoy anal sex. It's weird. I'm not attracted to men, but got him a good anal pounding as the tits. Maybe your belly button is the same. Thanks for the info. Not sure what I'll do with it. For now I'll just store it between the file folders in my brain under A for anal pounding. Till I figure something out. No worries. I'm just happy to know that this random bit of personal trivia has found a home. Maybe in the tumultuous days that are surely to come, you'll access that folder and spare a thought for a random anal loving stranger. Honestly, my girlfriend has an abnormally deep belly button. It has always been extremely sensitive. Closer to when we first started dating I started trying to get to the bottom of it. Why is it so sensitive? Turns out she had an umbolith that formed because she was so uncomfortable putting anything in there to clean it out. Anyways, fixed it right up, and it's now a lot less sensitive. Do I want to know what an umbolith is? Edit. Whoa. This blew up. Thanks for the award. No. For those who do want to know I would recommend. Patient was advised on personal hygiene. While I agree with your dismay, I was obsessed with my hygiene. I used to douche my belly button with saline nasal spray. One day it got red, and I plucked out a belly button stone with a Q-tip. Like, having a clean navel meant something to me. And yet, a stone. WTF. The belly button isn't very sturdy as anyone can feel. You probably damaged its skin with harsh washing. When I was in elementary school I used to think those were seeds in my belly button and I would just pick them out every so often. They stopped forming by middle school. Umbolith. I mean, how do you not know that you had something like that in there? I can clearly see the bottom of my belly button, and it is not super shallow. Everyone's button is different. Mine nice and deep but very tight. Like instead of a bottom the walls just close in and tighten up. When I tip it, I frequently separate the skin and it bleeds. Mine too. Mine is deep and tight. When I was around 12 years old, I remember it weeping a clear liquid and becoming crusty often. I would also get random shooting pains in it. It had a very strong foul smell when I would dig in there. I'm not sure how or why it stopped, but I haven't had any issues since then. I used to think maybe my belly button didn't have an end. Maybe that's why it hurt so much. After being pregnant, I finally was reassured that it indeed is closed together at the bottom. I remember the exact same thing. Ever since then I have been semi-obsessed with keeping mine clean. Almost r/no context. Mine too. Mine is deep and tight. When I was around 12 years old, I remember it weeping a clear liquid and becoming crusty often. There's no almost about it, Lamfeo. She mentioned her belly button once, man. Almost a 10 by 10. They don't mind edited comments as long as it's at least a couple of sentences that qualifies. For almost the entirety of this, reading it without context would be weird as hell. Keep going, I'm close. I have no idea how deep my belly button goes, and I'm not to unravel myself just to find out. Do you wanna see how deep the rabbit hole goes? You know what, I can think of a zillion reasons why it is so deep that you can fit a 1-inch chunk of funk. Hard pass on wanting more details. It's for storing your emergency Rallo. The emergency Rallo coming in clutch in these trying times. NGL. FYI, mine is so deep that I can't see the bottom. I only was able to glimpse the bottom while I was heavily pregnant. No reverse sticking out for me. All these stories are making me really glad that I have an outie. Yikes, man. All my life I've made fun of outers. Now I feel like a fool. This related article at the bottom of the page has some great phrases like using a spatula and diagnosis of lint ball. Most of the patients are young hairy males with deep umbilicus with poor personal hygiene. So, Redditors, I absolutely love those medical terms. It was gently separated all around and was scooped out. Well, that helped ruin the idea of ice cream ever again. Ice cream. Mint chocolate chip right now sound absurd. It would have cost you nothing to just not say that. I love me some Magnum dark chocolate mint ice cream. I just took some Ben & Jerry's out of the freezer and it's sitting on my desk. Now I don't know how I feel about it. Gotta start at the edge where it's soft, then you can get under a bit and heave it up. Warning, food spoiler, do not read to avoid food spoilers. Any embolism involving a hairy part of the body could be a wad of ingrown hair. If there is space the hair to grow inside the body, it can be ignored. That is scar tissue. Sometimes the mass grows so large that hair growth evokes directional directly into the skin as the least obstructed path. For most people this issue occurs around their belt and is simply an ingrown hair. For other people there are balls of hair with multiple strands. r/popping is too much for me, but I always find r/medicine fascinating. Especially the success stories of some cases are so amazing. Medicine has come so far, and it's absolutely mind-blowing what we can accomplish these days. It's hard to imagine what advances will be made by the time I'm 80. Wow, the transmetatarsal amputation video is brutal. I feel like they really tried to drive home the hairy part. They mentioned poor personal hygiene so much too, lol. That article subtly ragged on that dude repeatedly. A 32-year-old hairy male presented to the outpatient clinic. Patient was advised on good personal hygiene and made an uneventful recovery. What they wanted to write. So this bloated gorilla looking dude randomly waddles into the clinic. The smell of rotting cheetahs and old farts is overwhelming. Apparently his mom finally forced him out of her basement after the neighbors mistook the smell for a decomposing corpse. We trace the source of the stench to his belly button, which is pretty much an impenetrable forest of thick curly black hair. As we start digging, things quickly take a turn for the worse. The smell emanating from his body is so horrific that we have to take turns excavating and running to the bathroom. We're all used to stuff like malfunctioning colostomy bags and pus-filled abscess. This was worse. All the while this swamp troll of a man is making these annoyed wheezing pig-like grunts. To make matters worse, about halfway through he lets the most rancid fart rip, which ended up going straight through the sheets, leaving a permanent stain on the hospital bed. Anyway, we pull out this massive turd of dead skin, hair, and God knows what else from the literal cave system he calls belly button. I swear if we would have dug any deeper we would have found a Thai soccer team. Considering the weapons grade bacteria we identified, we probably should have kept him in isolation and summoned the CDC, but we quickly decided he needed to go as soon as possible. I'm tasked with briefing Jabba the Hutt on personal hygiene, one of the more futile endeavors of my professional life. We banished him back to his underworld dwelling, and to my knowledge he's still there, charging that hellscape of a belly button up for his next visit.
Thanks for watching. If you could like, subscribe and comment best Reddit stories for more Reddit videos.